Good evening, world. I am Coach Thomas, and welcome to the Expect to Win experience, our final show of 2021. And we have had an incredible season. First year, we have uh, had young people on from as far away as Australia to here locally in California. But I tell you, for 2022, we will be back January 8th, I believe it is. And you are going to love the new season of the Expect to Win experience. We have more young people, student athletes. So we have so much coming up in 2022, and we are looking forward to showcasing the best student athletes in the world. And we have also, if you are interested in being a guest on the Expect to Win experience, we would love to have you. We would love to have you, and you can call 1-800 674 9859. I believe that's 1-800 674 9859 is the number to be a guest on the Expect to Win experience. And we're looking for all types of student athletes, all sports. It don't matter if you can play lacrosse or football. And when also, if you are a coach or a recruiter, an athletic director or a professional, and you would like to be a guest, we like to bring in the pros, the coaches, to give words of advice. I talked to a coach earlier today, and we were talking about some of the young men that are being receiving offers for college football, and how he said that they're getting young men they're getting the offers, but they don't have the grades to get into the schools. So we try to bring information, the Expect to Win experience, that helps and prepares you for the next level. And if you like to get some Expect to Win gear, just like the Expect to Win BU hoodie that I have on, you can go to www.expecttowin. See the name scrolling down at the bottom. ExpectToWinAA.com, and you can order Expect to Win gear. All right, we're going to have our first commercial break, and we're going to be back with our first guest of the evening here on the Expect to Win experience, Coach Thomas.
One more.
I love that commercial. You fight like a girl. I love it. All right, we're going to bring on our first guest tonight, and we'll talk about the pros. And he is Coach Moorhead, and we're going to give him an opportunity to introduce himself. And it's late where he is, so Coach Moorhead, why don't you tell us where you are and who you are and why you up so late?
Sure. Like I said, I appreciate you for having me, Coach Thomas. But Coach Alex Moorhead with Ave Maria University women's basketball in Southwest Florida.
All right. Women's basketball. We've had a couple of awesome women's basketball coaches, and all of them seem to say to have the same opinion about coaching women basketball, that the women, listen better than the guys. Is that your perception as well, Coach Moorhead?
That's a tricky one. To be honest with you, I think there's just a lot more teaching that goes into it to an extent.
Okay.
You're not going to have the 6'9", 6'10" type athleticism in the men's game. So a lot more fundamentally sound players are beneficial to get what you need when it comes to the women's basketball game. That's what I would say.
What is the most difficult thing about coaching women? I coached girls softball, and my most difficult thing is when girls didn't like each other. that was the biggest problem. Or one thought another one was messing around with her boyfriend.
Sure.
What is the issue with women's basketball?
I honestly would say like relatability. Obviously, you have to understand women. And a lot of times my wife would probably say that I don't understand her. So you just have to find ways. I think one benefit that we utilize is you hire female assistants. You have to have females within your program to understand what your players are going through at any given time. So,
one of the things I always find interesting about coaching is that coaches see things differently than the casual fan. And with basketball, I've never coached basketball, and I've always thought, okay, you put the ball in the hoop, and but you draw up plays and all of that. How do you get young ladies to buy into your program?
Yeah, you touched on it. I mean, they have to buy in, and in doing so, they have to have some level of trust. And so everything starts with your culture. You're not going to ask your players to do anything you wouldn't do yourself. So a lot of times we get in practice, we run, and none of your drills or X's and O's are going to work unless you have the players that, like you said, buy into what you're saying. So X's and O's are important, but players are what make your program. That's the biggest thing.
Okay, Coach, tell me this. Suppose you have a player, and she is just awesome. She is, she is, she's an excellent player, has the natural, all of that. But she has the worst attitude you've ever seen. How do you deal with a player? Have you ever had to deal with a player like that, or how would you?
I've had multiple, honestly. I mean, there's so many athletic kids out there that there's just those small intangibles that they don't have. And you touched on like attitude, effort, energy. Some of your best players are going to be the ones with your worst attitudes. And honestly, the way we handle it is we don't play them. You talked about the buy-in, and for your team to buy in, they have to show that no one's above reproach. And so that goes from your best player to your worst player. So if our best players are getting away with stuff, your worst players are going to think they're going to get away with stuff. And now your team implodes. So if our best players aren't doing the small thing, they don't play. So that's the biggest thing for us within our culture.
Your young ladies are high school, correct?
Collegiate, they're college.
College, okay. Okay, so you don't have issues with the parents and all of that then on the college level, or do you?
It doesn't ever stop. It doesn't ever stop.
Wow.
So I mean, not as much. You have a little bit of leeway when it comes to the fact that they're on scholarship and there's money involved. And the majority of your student athletes at the college level are going to be adults. And so they're there to handle business on their own, and their parents don't necessarily get involved. You might have that one rare occasion where a parent calls, texts a little too much, but you let them know that that's not the place for it. So,
right. Well, but talk about that. What is the process for a student athlete, for you giving a student athlete a scholarship or offering a scholarship?
Sure. I think we talk about this all the time. I'm sure the next guests that come on will talk about it as well, but offers float around everywhere within any sport. You see kids posting on Twitter, I got this offer. There's a lot of stipulations that go into any offer. And so a kid can get an offer, but if they don't have acceptance in the school based on their grades, that offer really means nothing. There's full ride offers, there's half scholarships, there's preferred walk-ons. So I think education is the most important. Like, kids have to know truly what that offer stands for. We can't offer a kid until they've been accepted into our university, and that's what a lot of kids don't understand. I mean, if I offer you right now and you can't get in, it doesn't do anything for you. I mean, it's an obsolete offer. So we go through the process of making sure the kids have high grades, high standards academically. We make sure that they want to go to our school, no matter if it's athletics or just for the education. If they're just coming for sports, a lot of times kids don't make it through, and you all know about it. It's the transfer portal. They leave, and we don't want kids that are going to leave.
So. Right. Wow. So is that just your school that you can't offer until they've been accepted? Because that seems like it should be a national requirement.
Right. I mean, our school's on the NAI level, and we're really, really stringent within our academics. That's not every school. A lot of kids might receive offers and they haven't even applied yet. So obviously that's a process that every school is going to have different stipulations as it relates to it.
Right. How has COVID affected your recruiting?
No in-person recruiting mainly. A lot of schools are having the live streams now, and so we really utilize that. We try and catch as many games as we can, but obviously we can do it from the comfort of our homes. It's a double-edged sword. You can see a kid on video and be like, oh, they're really, really good, but you never really know until you get to see them in person. So we try to get our recruiting database or our pool of student athletes by watching their film. If we feel a kid is good enough, we either get them on a visit to where we can see him live, or we go out and see him personally.
Okay. Let me ask you this. A lot of, of course, everybody wants the elite talent, the absolute best that you can get. Have you ever seen a young lady that may not have had the talent, but she has such an incredible work ethic that you couldn't help but like, look, we gotta give this girl a full ride, or you go the extra mile for her?
Sure. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, a lot of kids that we get at our level, they're not the elite of the elite, but they're those kids that have that little chip on their shoulder, that moxie that you're just like, that kid's going to run through a brick wall for us for 4 years. And a lot of times those are the kids that wind up All-Americans because they handle adversity, they handle their grades, their social life is in order. So yeah, I mean, those EYBL kids, the kids on the grassroots leagues, like we don't get many of those. We get a lot of the kids that are overlooked and overshadowed. And so we as a coaching staff, we have chips on our shoulder because those kids don't look at us. So we recruit a lot of those kids with chips on their shoulder, and it really works out well for us.
That is awesome. That is so cool. I was talking to a young man today, and I was telling him how he wants to, play football. He wants to go play college football and hopefully make it to the NFL. But his whole thing is that I got to go D1. I got to go D1. And I was telling him it's more players in the NFL from D2 and D3 schools. The D1 players a lot of time don't work out.
Yeah.
Like you said, you need that kid with a chip on their shoulder.
It's so accurate that you say that. I mean, we get kids that text us every day that say, Coach, I'm holding out for a D1, D2 offer. The long and the short of it, it's such a business. And in order to achieve and grow in that business, those coaches at that D1 level have to have top level talent every single year. And so no matter what, they're going to be looking for someone else to replace you just because they have no idea what's going to go on, if you're going to reach your potential. And so, I mean, D1 or bust is a myth. It's a true myth. Like, there's great facilities at the D2 level, at the D3 level, at the JUCO level. I mean, like you mentioned, there's NFL players that leave JUCO and go to the NFL. Right. But a lot of those kids have chips on their shoulder. They have moxie, they have grit. They just have that tenacity that the pro levels are looking at. And they know that those kids are going to be able to go through the mud no matter what their situation is. So,
we always tell kids, go out and have fun and, just play the game, have fun, but as from the coaching standpoint, is it fun to you? How long have you been coaching and what makes it fun for you?
This is going into year 10. So I played 4 years of collegiate ball, played 2 years overseas in Ireland and Indonesia. And if I wasn't going to play, I was like, I got to get into it somehow. So I started coaching at the youth levels, and it truly is. It's so different. It's a lot of fun. The admin portions of it, the recruiting aspects of it, the X's and O's, the scouting, like all that is so entertaining. You meet so many great people. My faith is intertwined with it. And so I think being able to see the product that you have all the background, so like the X's and O's, the scouting, and then putting it on the floor, like that's your finished product. And that's awesome. Like, I don't know if you cook or anything like that, but like when I make eggs and put all the stuff together and mix it all up and then seeing the finished product and having my wife say, "Oh, that tastes good." It's kind of like how like your team is to an extent as a coach. So
Right. So I'm going to assume that you say you played 4 years college ball. You probably had aspirations of going to the NBA, and you went. How did you end up overseas, and what was that like?
Honestly, it was divine providence, kind of where I am right now. I went to 5 schools in college. I was always looking for the grass is greener on the other side, and just through divine providence, I was connected with an individual out in California, actually, that got me connected with a program out in Ireland. Got my master's while I was there, and so instead of paying me, I got my degree while playing, and then it just kind of took off from there. Had a benefit to play 1 additional year in Indonesia with Athletes in Action, and just took those experiences and ran with them.
Wow. We had a coach on last week, and he said something that stuck with me that I hadn't heard a lot of coaches mention. He said people even recruiters look at how you treat other people. And he said he got the chance to go play in the NBA G League because he was nice to the janitor at his school. The janitor knew somebody that could pick him up. He said because he told him, "Man, you always been nice with me. I'm gonna put in a word for you." And he said, and that's how he got to the NBA G League. So it's not always a conventional method that's going to get you to the next level. So I love hearing stories like that. And so, Coach, I'm gonna wrap this interview up, but give me one of your most entertaining stories since you've been a coach.
Right,
something that is just you couldn't even believe you were a part of it.
I'm trying to think. I will say this: our COVID year, I coached at a high school a few years ago, and one of the sayings that we have, your expectation has to equal your investment. We went down to Canyon, Texas, and played against Coach Lombard, one of the most winning coaches in the nation at Canyon, Texas, Canyon High School. And we got beat 61-15, believe it or not.
Wow.
We were one of the best schools in Oklahoma. They were one of the best schools in Texas, and we just were not prepared. And so, we talked to each other and we said, let's make sure this never happens again. And, our team is overly talented, and we reeled off about 16 games in a row after that. We won our last 16-18, probably my best high school team. And going into the state tournament, we were ranked number 1 in the state, and then COVID hit. And so I think the best thing that I just remember about that is every kid within that, the 6 seniors that I had, got a college scholarship.
Wow.
And you never realize how amazing that is until you kind of look back on it. And so going from kind of getting pushed back into reality, losing 61-15, winning those 16 games in a row, and then making that state tournament, I mean, it was just a blessing from God. And so I always look back and think of how blessed I was just to experience that.
So the 16 in a row, were those the same girls that lost the 61-15?
Oh, yeah. My most talented team. So, yeah, it was definitely a redirect for sure.
Wow. That's awesome, Coach. Well, Coach, I'm going to wrap this up, and I thank you for being on the show tonight. Why don't you tell people how they can reach you, any other aspiring female athletes, basketball players they want to reach you, or anybody want to reach you? You have any social media info or your contact info?
Yeah, sure. So I think the easiest route is obviously you guys can email me or reach me on my Twitter. It's AMU Moorhead 2. I can type that in or whatever you need. And then also alex.moorhead@avemaria.edu. So once again, Ave Maria University in Ave Maria, Florida. And so, yeah, once again, thanks for having me. I definitely appreciate it.
Man, Coach Moorhead, people like you make this so easy, and I'm honored to meet you. I hear it in your voice. You love what you do, and so I know you guys are going to have a great season.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. Thanks again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Moorhead, women's basketball coach from Southwest Florida. We're going to take our second commercial break, and then we're going to be back with our final student athlete of 2021 in 60 seconds here on the Expect to Win Experience Talk Show. We are back. You can, if you'd like to be a guest on the Expect to Win Experience, call 1-800-674-9859, and we will get you set up to be a guest on Expect to Win Experience Talk Show. And like I said, we have so many exciting things coming up. We want you to be a part of it. Also, if you are watching this, wherever you are watching, please take a moment and like the Expect to Win TV on YouTube and on our Instagram page, the Expect to Win Show. Please go there and like that. We would love it and appreciate it. We love having you as a fan of the show. And those of you that are student athletes, our job here is to give you the information that you need to go to the next level. With that being said, we're going to bring on our student athlete. He's a football player, and I'm going to give him a chance to introduce himself to you. And ladies and gentlemen, we will welcome the star of our show, Mr. Raiden Churchill. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Just kind of tired.
Man, I like that hoodie you have on. I tell you what, you send me one of those. You send me one of those hoodies. I send you one of these hoodies.
All right, I got you.
Well, Mr. Raiden Churchill, we are honored to have you here tonight. Why don't you tell us who you are and a little bit about the basketball player? Let us know who you are.
I live in a small town in Oklahoma, and I play football.
Football or basketball?
It's football.
Oh, okay. I thought it was basketball. My mistake. All right. You just look like you could be on the Golden State Warriors.
Appreciate it.
So you what position do you play?
In football?
Yeah.
I play tight end. I play tight end and defensive end.
Okay. What is it that drew you to football?
Can you repeat that?
Okay, looks like we're having a What is it that drew you to football?
That I enjoy in football.
Yeah, what is it that you love about football? I mean, I heard that you know
I
some pretty interesting things about you.
uh I enjoy because I like competitiveness and I like contact. I just like a physical game,
Okay.
but that's really it.
Yeah, you can go ahead and say you like hitting people.
Yeah, I like hitting people.
so that's cool. That's cool. Raiden, tell me about a moment you may have had playing football that was like your signature moment. It was just like, you know how when you play sports, every kid has a moment you live for. You play baseball, you looking forward to you the bases loaded, your team losing by a run, and you hit a grand slam home run. What was your grand slam in football? Did you have you had that moment yet where you just did something that it even
Um,
surprised you?
um, well, a moment that surprised me was being able to start my sophomore year after not playing at all my freshman year, and
Wow.
I kind of just take that and cherish it.
Okay. What grade are you now, Raiden?
I'm a junior.
You
I'm a
junior.
junior.
Okay. All right. So what was your season like this year? How was your season?
The beginning was a little rocky. We went 0-4 at the beginning, and then we came back towards the end, and then we had a we had a little turnaround at the end, and we made the playoffs. Which, after the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have thought that we would have done that.
Wow. What turned the team around?
Just everybody buying in. Like we had like we didn't have really at the beginning of the season. We didn't have a few players out because of COVID, which I think that was probably a big um, a big downfall. And then we had a sophomore step up for us at receiver, and he had a good season.
Okay. Wow. So you
And
said
I think that was what helped us.
some of the players had COVID.
Yeah, some of the players got quarantined, and that was like our first 3 games. Some players got quarantined, so yeah, yeah, that was pretty bad.
Wow. Wow. So did they shut you guys down totally, or they just quarantine the players?
They just quarantined a few players. It wasn't like they had it. I'm pretty sure they just got exposed to it.
Oh, okay. Got you. Got you. So, what are your aspirations? You have a particular college in mind you like to attend?
um, as of right now, I don't have a certain college, but there is a couple that I would like to. I guess, yeah,
Well,
I have a couple.
I'm gonna ask you the question. Everybody don't hate the answer. How are your grades?
My grades are good. They're average. They could be better.
Okay, okay. So they by your senior year they will be better, correct?
Yes, they will be definitely.
All right. That's what I like to hear. So, Raiden, tell me this, and I always like to ask the young men because it takes so much focus to be a successful student athlete. One of the biggest distractions is young ladies. How do you deal with that?
uh, I mean, I don't really have a problem with that. Uh, I never really did because I never really like focused on that. My focus was more on school and football. So yeah, it was never really like a big problem for me.
Okay. Is your family athletic? Any other athletes in your family?
Repeat that for me.
Any other athletes in your family?
Uh, yeah, I have a cousin who was pretty good at football, and that's who I really looked up to, and
Mm-hmm.
that's who really got me playing. But other than that, I'm pretty sure I don't think so.
Okay. You got any siblings?
Yeah, I have a sister. I have a sister, and I have a little brother.
They don't play anything?
My sister played softball while she was in high school, and then she went to college and didn't play. And then my little brother doesn't play sports.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. What advice would you give to a young person, Raiden, that wants to play football, wants to be a student athlete? What kind of advice would you give to him or
I'll
her?
probably tell him that. I'll probably tell him that like all the other stuff, like all the fun stuff, like going to parties and doing all that, like stuff that can really get you caught up and like it's easy to get into. I would tell him just wait because that time will come.
Yes, 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 definitely. Did any who is it? Is it one person that you can think of that gave you like tremendous advice, or that still gives you advice that helps you out today?
Yeah, definitely. Well, my friend Braylon's dad, I'm pretty sure he was on here too about a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And my football coach, Coach Walford, he gives me a lot of good advice. I really appreciate that.
Okay, all right. Well, Ray, we gonna wrap up your interview. You have any social media contacts, information, or what would you say to a recruiter that's watching this show tonight? You know, and he's thinking about talking to you. What would you say to him? Why would you want him to recruit you?
Um, It's a good question. I would probably say that I've never had that question asked to me. Um,
Yeah, this is your opportunity to sell yourself.
I would have to, yeah. Um, I would just tell them that. I mean, I like to. I mean, I work hard. I mean,
Well, that's what I was. What's your work ethic like?
my work ethic. I feel like I have a pretty good work ethic. I just love to work out. It's something I love to do.
All right. Well, give out your social media information, rating, how people can reach out to you,
You
and
you can
they
find
can
me on Twitter
follow you.
with just my name, Raiden Churchill, and that's about it.
Okay. All right. Well, Raiden Churchill, man, we wish you all the best. I look forward to seeing you on the next level, and maybe having you back as a guest on the show in your senior year after you get a ton of offers. Uh, and I say to you, see what I do is I always like to plant seeds. So I tell every guest, when you make it to the pros, you sign that $1 million contract. Don't forget about Coach Thomas. All right. So, Raiden, man, it's a pleasure having you on the show. God bless you, man, and we expect you to win. We expect to see you do some great things.
I appreciate that. Thank you. for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Raiden Churchill. Whoo! I love our student athletes. We get some great student athletes on this show, and I just love giving them an opportunity to talk about themselves. And many of them, this is the first of many interviews that they will have in their career. So I love it when we have student athletes on the show, and that's what we're all about. That's what Expect to Win is about, the student athlete. And now at this time, I'm going to bring in the other star of the show, and he is our recruitment specialist. Always have a good word for parents and students alike. And that's none other than Coach Kelly. Good evening, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm ready to go out and do something after I get done with the show. I know it's late where you are, but
yeah, it's about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock here, so I may just go drive around the block. That's the most exciting thing I do. So anyway, I know you got something good for us tonight, Coach.
I do. I got something good.
All right. Well, the floor is yours.
All right. Tonight's tip from NSA Prospects is, you guys, I think Coach Moorhead hit on it just a little bit, and Raiden was on. He had, something that all kids have these days is social media. I had an experience this past week where a kid basically didn't have a clean image on his page, and he lost an offer. So I wanted to stress to everyone out there that your social media, as much as your grades are important, that your social media is also important, because the recruiters and guys and coaches that are looking for you, they want to see you as a whole person. They want to know what they're bringing into their program, and your social media is a peek into what you consider normal. And again, I've said this before. You don't have to be fake, but you got to understand what image you're putting out to the world, because everything on the internet is viewable and researchable and things like that. And just as much as your highlight film is your business card, if coaches are intrigued by your talent, then the next step is to see what are your grades. And then the next step after that is to see what type of person you are and what type of image you carry. So your social media is the next step with that. And I can't stress enough that, you guys as kids have your own culture, but you also have to understand that you guys play for adults, and you play for, especially in the next level, a business type atmosphere. And as much as coaches are old athletes or things like that, they also have to run a program. The program has to have a polished image, because there are fans that come to the game, and those fans are going to intermix with you. And so you guys not only are just a player, but you're also the face of a program and the face of a school. So because of that, your image has to be clean. You have to know how to interact with people. You're going to have to know how to say hello and be nice to, fans and the fans' kids and administrators that are on campus and things like that. So the image that you carry is very, very important. So you have to make sure that your social media is clean. Now, if you're doing your own thing and you don't plan on playing after high school, then do what you want. But if you plan on making it to the next level, you have to have a clean image, and that means your social media needs to be clean. So I would suggest to you guys to make sure that it's clean. Yes, be yourself, but make sure that it's something that you can promote to people who you don't know, and people that are willing to spend money on you, because it's in the thousands of dollars that they will spend money on you so that you can come play for their program. So that's our tip for the week. You're on mute, Coach.
All right. I like that, Coach, because I think that's what we want to try to do here at the Expect to Win Experience talk show by giving these young people an opportunity to interview, to get a little taste of it. And I think that really, it's good advice to tell the student athletes, you have to really almost act like you're a professional athlete before you even get there, because that's so important. And me being, a businessman, and you really have to look at these college coaches as business people, because it's a business. There's a lot of money involved, and I have to know who I'm sending out to represent me as my business. I remember a few years ago, there was a guy that basically he wanted to work for me. He wasn't officially working for me, and I didn't like this guy's attitude. I liked the way he presented himself. And he went to one of the record companies, MCA Records, and basically told him he worked for me, he was my assistant and all of that. Basically, he could have put me in a bad light had I not already had a reputation with these people. They knew to call me and like, James, who is this guy down here, saying he represents you? Same thing with the student athletes. When a coach decides to offer you a scholarship and this school decides to invest this money in you, they're expecting you to represent them. So it's a very good tip tonight, Coach. And like I said, the advice that the student athlete show is golden. It's golden, and hopefully, we're steering some in the right direction.
I want to reiterate and emphasize that for all you guys out there that think that basketball is going to fix everything and that you being an athlete is going to fix everything, you'll be at home if you don't make sure you have a clean image and if you don't put forth into the investment to do things correctly. I have a ton of experience with kids that just think, I'm a good player. That doesn't fix everything. And sadly, a lot of kids find out too late. And then they're in the I wish I should have listened category, or they're the athletes that are still at home that never made it, the woulda, shoulda, coulda athletes. And I've always heard, woulda, shoulda, coulda doesn't exist. So, listen to what we're saying so that you can reap the benefits of that. And please trust what we're telling you, because the information we give is directly from college coaches, and we're not just making stuff up.
Right. Well, thanks, Coach. The awesome words as always. And we're going to wrap up the show tonight. Like I said, this is our final show of 2021. Coach Kelly, thank you for hanging in there with me through all of the transition. And, I talked to Candy this week. She graduated, got her master's degree in communication.
I seen that.
That's my girl, and I was so proud of her. And and she always asking about the show and you, Coach. So, but 2022 we're gonna come back bigger and better and stronger, and we're gonna continue. I want to have 2022. I want to have our first student athlete from Africa. I know we had one from, and I can't think of his name, but he was here. I mean, I want.
Bai Jobe was from Senegal, which he's from Africa. He's here now in Oklahoma, but he's originally from Africa. But if you want, I can get you an athlete. I mean, I already have a direct connection. If you need an athlete directly who is still over there,
that's what I want.
I can get that done too.
Okay, that's what I want for 2022. I want to talk to a student athlete over in Africa. So, Coach, make that happen.
I also have a pro player that's from Nigeria who's in Europe, who's from Africa, that we could talk to about his experience also.
Okay. All right. See, look, you guys, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss an episode. And if you can, one of the beautiful things about doing this show and the way we do it. It's all over YouTube, so you can go back and watch all of the past episodes. And please like Expect to Win TV when you go there. Like, subscribe, and share, and also order some Expect to Win merchandise. And let's just expect to win. I wish my phone would shut up, but it won't. But that's live TV. Well, on behalf of myself, and I am Coach Thomas.
And I'm Coach Kelly.
We say God bless you guys. Thank you for your support and watching the Expect to Win Experience talk show in 2021. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, prosperous New Year. Stay safe out there, and let's come back next year and let's do it all over again. God bless you all, and from the Expect to Win Experience talk show.